Welcome to my channel. Please make sure you click subscribe and also the like button and leave a comment, of course. So, today I wanted to talk about how do you find a therapist? What makes a good therapist? What are you looking for, right? So, there are certain things you want to look for. I know I get a lot of questions with what are your credentials? Are you a LCPC? Are you a MFT? Do you see couples? Do you see families? And those kind of do matter because, again, CPCs generally only see individuals, and an MFT, a marriage and family therapist, will see couples, and also families. However, again, with me, I have my background and my training, my entire education. I did a second, should I say, I added on credits so I could do the marriage and family track. And so I'm trained in both, which means I see couples and individuals. Um, so, what are you looking for when you are scrolling the internet, looking at therapists, looking to get into therapy? You definitely want to look for someone you can relate to, right? We all feel more comfortable opening up to someone we relate to. Okay, so that's number one. Make sure you read the profiles, make sure you read their specialties will be on there, insurances will be on there because everyone accepts different insurances. It is a totally different, should I say, process to getting on certain insurance panels. So some are more difficult than others. Some people only accept cash, which is a lot easier. I'll also have a video as to why you should be paying cash instead of using insurance. Totally a lot of reasons for that. But back to the topic. How do you decide on a therapist? So, number one, relatability for you. So it is how you feel when you read their profiles, when you get the information about the specialties that they have. You should get a feel for them when you're reading their profile. We all have different tones, right, that we write in, and it evokes a feeling and a tone. There's certain abrasive tones, aggressive tones. There's polite tones, there's sweet tones, there's caring tones. So you'll definitely get a feel for how the person, the therapist is when you're reading their profiles. How else? Now, credentials, sure. If you're looking for something specific, of course, if you're looking for couples, you may want to look for an MFT. So that may matter. If you're looking for medications, of course, you would go to a psychiatrist, not a therapist. So that may matter. But again, the other question, so looking for a therapist, the other question that I think is super important is what makes a good therapist? Should they have experience or not in life? A lot of clients that I get that come in always ask, do you have kids? Because a lot of people, if you don't have children, like a lot of the younger therapists, there are a lot of younger therapists, and they don't have experience in life yet. So no kids, no marriages, no traumas, haven't moved around a lot, only went to school, you won't have a lot of life experience. So if you are one of those people who want your therapist to be able to relate to you, you may want to seek an older therapist. Now, not old or elderly, but maybe middle-aged, maybe even in their late 20s. Again, when I was in my late 20s, I had a ton of experience already in life, and I mean a ton. So now that I'm 37, I definitely have a ton more experience. And so I do think that helps. What makes a good therapist? I do think life experience. Now, this is from my personal perspective. I did tell you guys I would warn you if I was talking about my personal perspective or if it was something that is known across the board, okay? Book-wise, field-wise. But no, I do believe after seeing and receiving a lot of clients who have been to someone inexperienced, who they couldn't click with, who they couldn't build that rapport with because they did not relate, the relatability wasn't there. If you go into an office and you have a provider sitting like this, now tell me how that feels. Okay, now how did that make you feel? Okay, with no facial expression. I still made a couple of facial expressions because I can't do it, right? I can't not laugh. I can't not smile. And it's not a joking matter. We're not laughing at, treatment. We're definitely laughing if there's a joke being told or if something is funny or cute. I'm definitely going to smile. If a baby comes into the phone and makes a noise, or into the screen and makes a noise, of course I'm gonna smile. But you have people who are being taught this way, right? When I went to school, they told us to control your facial expression. Um, that how does it make you feel? Was a part of it. But that is just not how typical people behave. And it's not even how people relate to other people. We have facial expressions. Facial expressions mean things, right? If you're surprised, you're gonna have a surprise face. If you're smiling, it means you feel good, right? If you're frowning, it means you're trying to either understand something. It depends on how you're frowning, and I do have those as well. I do make sure not to do that often, right? Of course, I don't want to just be like this in the camera. But there are times where you're trying to kind of think, or you're thinking about something. I may go like this. Of course, I'm not rolling my eyes, but I'm thinking, is that what it was? Oh, yeah, I remember it, right? So, yeah, we're human. We're human. And I enjoy being human when I do therapy, when I'm in a therapy session. I think people appreciate it a lot more than a stone face. So, what brings you in the office today? Absolutely not. I don't want to open up to that. Who would, right? So, are they personable? Do they have life experience? I think that is important. Again, if you don't have children and you're trying to explain to me, a provider, if you're trying to explain how frustrated you are with your children, and a person who doesn't have kids, they may say, with their own biases, because we all have biases, right? They may sit there and think, oh, that doesn't sound like much. Why can't she just go in the other room? Why can't she just do this? Why can't she just make the baby stop crying? Why doesn't she just feed it? You have no idea how to relate. Another thing, some people have difficult children, right? ADHD, autism. If you haven't had any experience with that, again, you're not going to understand how stressful it can be, what the patient is trying to express to you. It doesn't mean that you can't do the therapy, right? You can always teach someone what you know, which is what we are doing to a certain extent. We're teaching you tools, teaching you how to cope. We're teaching you how to process your thoughts. All of that stuff is important. So yes, they can definitely teach you. It's just the relatability. Again, you may see a blank face when they don't understand what you're talking about. The other thing that I notice, and this is with African Americans, if you have an ex-gang member, right? Ex-affiliated member, gang member, come into your office, and they are talking about their past, and they mention, oh, I had to hit licks, I had to do this, I had to survive, I had to do this and this, and their mannerisms. You know how people, African Americans, we may talk with our hands, and we're not the only culture though, but they may be talking with their hands, they may be doing facial expressions. Excuse me. Told you guys I was a little sick, but their facial expressions may look, they may do a little, and you may think it's directed at you, but it's absolutely not. It's just how they communicate. Now, again, if you're a green, and we all know what green means, right? It means new. If you're a green therapist and no life experience, haven't been around an African American in your life, you're going to think they're crazy. And that word, we'll talk about that as well, because therapy is not crazy. It does not mean, we don't even use that term, okay? You should never find a therapist that's using the word crazy. Again, the only things that I personally think may be crazy, and to use that term, somebody who shoots up a school, okay? Somebody who eats, like Jeffrey Dahmer, okay? Those kind of people would be considered, I would say, off their rocker, right? Definitely, I think we can agree. But anxiety, depression, bipolar, ADHD, none of those things are crazy, okay? They're either, what do I want to say? They're either chemical imbalances, or there's something typical that your brain, your thought processes, and your belief systems, that is what's causing it. But it's not crazy. But yeah, a therapist may look at you like something is definitely wrong with them. But you just may be from Cali, or you're from the South, and your accent is different, and you're animated a little differently. They're judging. You don't want to sit across from a therapist who judges you. That brings me to my last point. Therapists are not supposed to be judgmental. I believe, and for the betterment of the relationship, you should not be judgmental. There are all kinds of walks of life. There are all kinds of people who like different things, who do different things. I'm not here to judge that, and neither should your therapist be. What your therapist should be doing is analyzing the behaviors and introducing healthier behaviors, not judging whether it's right, whether it's wrong, whether it's crazy, whether it's something they don't understand. None of that. Imparting their own biased opinions. No, that is not what therapy is about. It is literally assessing the issues that you present to the therapist and then assessing them for ways that we can make them healthier, right? Or stop the behaviors altogether, the thoughts, whatever's contributing to those symptoms, right? But never just judging whether it's good, bad, ugly. No, we're all human beings. We all do good, bad, ugly things, okay? So the judgments when you come into therapy should be left at the door, right? Same with opinions, same with advice. So the next video I'll be bringing you guys, and I'm trying to make them short right now until I kind of get some subscribers, and then maybe I'll definitely do longer videos. I can definitely talk, because again, my first job is to listen, then speak. And that's actually when I know therapy is working, is when the client is speaking, right? And speaking about specific things, not just talking, but it's specific things. And if the client is able to carry the session, that it usually signifies something that they're doing pretty well. So me talking is not something I want to do, or I should be doing the entire session. That's not what therapy is for, and I see a lot of providers who do that. You're not the one who should be talking the most. It should be your client, because they're the ones learning. They should have questions. They should have answers. They should have things that they're bringing up. So anyways, got on a little tangent. I will also do that. But definitely, that's what makes a good therapist. That's what you should be looking for. Again, someone you can relate to, or you think you can relate to. If any time you feel like there is an issue in therapy, bring it up. You're supposed to have that bond with your provider. So if there's something wrong, don't hold it. That's not the time to hold it. In therapy, you want to be open, honest, comfortable, and be able to speak about anything, even if it's a problem with you and your therapist. And if a therapist takes that personally, they have an issue. They ought to know personalization is a distortion, and it's something you don't do, okay? Whether it's with your mate, your son, or your client. You don't personalize. If they come in there upset one day, it's not about you, unless it is. But generally, it's not about you. They could be having a bad day. If they yell at you, same thing. Your job is to de-escalate. De-escalate. It's the same thing I think about with the police officers. De-escalate. Don't escalate. Anytime you match somebody's energy, you're doing this, just that. You're matching their energy. No. No. You want to show them the energy you want them to come down to. So if somebody's yelling, you evenly speak. You speak in a lower tone. You agree with them. You don't say no. Oh, yes, I hear you. Okay, however, can we do this? There was no in that sentence. You know, can I call my mom? You don't say no. You know, no, you don't do that. You de-escalate. And so, again, if there's problems that you're having with your therapist, bring it to them. They should be open to talking about those issues and figuring out some compromises, some solutions, some things like that. They should not personalize. I will make a video on those distortions because I really want to talk about those. I find that a lot of therapists are not discussing the foundational concept of CBT with their clients, which they should. That should be number one. Okay? So I've got a lot, again, to talk about. I hope you enjoy this short video. For me, it's short. And I hope you come and subscribe, click the like buttons, and also leave comments, because I want to comment, reply to the comments. I also want to have you guys calling in for some of the lives. I am going to probably leave a different number. I just thought about that. I gave my business number on the other video, but I think I'm going to have a different number for you guys to call in so it doesn't get inundated with YouTubers, right? Or people around the world calling me. So I definitely want to have that happen. I like to work off of questions, right? And of course, processing with that person. When we have another person, again, you get multiple perspectives and you can process. Processing is everything. CBT therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, if you guys didn't know what I meant. So I will definitely be talking about those distortions next. Tons of topics coming. I have tons of topics that I would love to freely speak about. This channel is me freely speaking. I guess noting some things that I don't get to say to clients. Also some things, of course, I do say to clients, especially these intro videos. Of course, I'm kind of listing some basics, but I do want to get into some things and some case conceptualization, right? Definitely no HIPAA violations because you won't know who I'm talking about. These will be regular questions that I kind of get frequently that I want to go in more depth with and be more freely open in how I can speak. You know, when you're doing therapy with a client, you have to tread lightly. There are certain things that you do, there's certain things that you don't do, and you go at your client's pace. With the YouTube channel, I want to go on my pace and give my more opinions, definitely more opinions, obviously professional opinions, but also opinions. And I also want to give a little bit more advice as far as on these videos. However, if I am talking to a person when you guys call in live, it will not be advice, it will be processing. Because one thing, again, that therapists should not do is give advice. We help you to process so you can come up with your own solution, own answers, own agreements and what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do. We're not telling you what to do. We're giving you healthy options that you get to choose. All right, this is Zanyae, and this is Zanyae Speaks. I thank you guys for tuning in. Again, click the subscribe, the like button. I'm going to be giving you guys lots of videos once a week or maybe even twice a week. I'm excited, so I can't wait to keep this going. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care.